It looks like it's one-handed.
Ready yourselves. Council's just up this lift.
Of course they have an elevator. How elevated?
Haven't seen Petro around in a while.
As sure as you vanish, the
They
end will be
worship
from our
wood. That
lives.
all bad?
May your exile be
Wonder what
brief,
Corin here
and
is
your
so
throne
tired.
reclaimed.
Nandru looked to Wodoka for inspiration when he created the traditions and laws of Solace.
You must be the outsider I've heard so much about, yes? I am pleased to meet you.
Bolty? Is that you?
Marius? Won't the Commandant be surprised? What can I do for Solace's most fascinating guests?
Not just yet.
Good to see you again. I am an attendant of the Council of Solace. I do whatever they ask of me, frankly. Currently, it is my honor to watch over the Shrine of Wodoka and keep it as pristine as the goddess herself.
You mean it's your honor to stay where the Council can keep an eye on you? The way I heard it, Bolty had a reputation for taking things from the armory and selling them to traders for a profit.
I paid my debt to Solace. I have changed.
Yeah, well, the Council is keeping you close by, just in case you haven't.
Take pride in our home, fellow Pagrun. For Solace is an impenetrable fortress. Move along, outsider. Consultation hours are... Oh my. No, of course not. What can I do for one such as yourself? Ah, our beloved founder. Nandru sought to create a sanctuary in the deadliest part of the island. He called it Solace. Many believe Nandru was led here by a spirit guardian of some kind. Others believe he was simply an excellent judge of location. Regardless, many of his traditions remain in place to this day, while others may have fallen by the wayside. He was compassionate, eccentric, and charismatic. He knew how to draw out the best in his people, a true leader. Tradition says that when he knew his life was ending, he sought quiet solitude, knowing his work here was complete. Not a word of tradition, spoken or written, speaks ill of our founder. It is perhaps the only thing on which we all agree. If you ask these absolute Zaribs, they'd say not at all. I maintain that our solace is more in Sorina's vision than Nandru's. Our founder envisioned a safe place for all who reside or explore in the Tusks. An admirable goal, certainly. Sorina's vision was more about safety for the people already within Solace. Outsiders be damned. Ah, blessed Sorina. She led Solace's rise from the ashes centuries ago, when an attack breached the walls and ruined our keep. She was a forceful and diligent leader who oversaw the rebuilding of the keep and established new traditions to keep us safe. Many, myself included, believe her traditions conflicted with Nandru's, which were more suited to a Solace in peacetime. If you ask about the tilled ground made for growing plants, no. Very few here have that knowledge. But Nandru did speak of a garden from time to time. He created the Wardens of Solace to oversee that garden specifically. No one can say for sure what the garden meant to him, for none has set foot there. I fear I cannot help you beyond that. What more can I do to enlighten you? We pass on the oral histories of Solace and seek to uncover those historical knowledge we have lost over. In return, the unenlightened Jetuli of Solace curse, spit, and throw objects at us. It is truly a symbiotic relationship. All philosophy is controversial here. Thoughts that do not challenge tradition might as well be tradition themselves.
One moment.
Talk about this later. A guest. What is the meaning of this? Who let them in here?
They're here because I vouched for them.
Marius, you're alive.
There were rumors you died, Marius. We mourned you. You shouldn't have returned.
I trust you came back to us for good reason. I doubt that. There isn't an inch of this land the Wardens do not patrol, day and night. If the Steel Garrote were here, we would know.
And if they are here, let them come. Solace has stood against worse threats for hundreds of years.
They nearly destroyed a city full of animancers. If they come for Solace, even these ancient walls won't save you. If that's all you'll do, you might as well not do anything.
Although I wonder why we should bother trusting you. We heard that you were responsible for a great many deaths in Shatterscarp. Give me a reason to tolerate you for even a second longer. Indeed. But you've brought us news. Now I'm curious. What do you expect us to do for you, hmm? It sounds like you have something in mind. There is no path.
Nor has there been for hundreds of years. There was a bridge once, but it fell in Nandru's time. How do you know of our garden, Envoy? Mind how you speak of the garden in these halls, Envoy.
The garden is our sacred purpose. Its observation and protection, a task handed to us by Nandru himself. He once wrote that the island spoke to him, perhaps as it has spoken to you.
The Envoy does bear a remarkable resemblance to our founder, does he not?
The markings on your face, I recognized them. But I didn't want to believe an Aedyran could have anything in common with Nandru. Enough. I know you Outlanders to be audacious, but claiming you read the lost journal of our founder, there are no words. If Nandru ever wrote such a thing, do you think the Pargrunen would forget it? Would the living archives misplace such an artifact? We did not lie to you. The bridge has fallen. The path is long gone.
If there is another way, Envoy, you will have to discover it yourself. But I fear you will be disappointed.
Even if we knew of the potential of another path, we couldn't tell you. Your facial markings might be similar to Nandru's, but we will not change our ways for an accident of flesh and cartilage. You are an outsider, and will remain one forever. The agent of an empire bent on destroying all that we have built. Envoy, you and those like you are why we are here. The Wardens exist to stand in your way.
Envoy, be practical. You may be uniquely capable, but there are hundreds of us. There are 3 of you. Good. Be sure of it.
Kostya, see the Envoy out of our halls. Enough time has been wasted on inconsequential matters.
With all due haste, Mihala.
And Marius? Don't stay gone so long next time.
If this is the kind of warm welcome I can expect, I can't wait to come back.
Follow me, Envoy.
Right. I warned you they'd be useless. Or maybe I didn't, but I thought about it. You'd be better off tracking the Steel Garrote. At least they're not useless bureaucrats.
And I thought Vidara was infuriating.
Still lingering, Aedyran? Good.
Smells like there's a dissension in the ranks.
Envoy, might I have a word? I believe we can help each other. I just wanted a word before you went on your way. I wanted to apologize for what happened in the council chamber. The situation here is desperate. We have more mouths than food. The old sicken, the young suffer. But Mihala, well, she's a devoted warden to her core. I think she'd rather we starve than ask for help. There are just not enough resources to go around, and it's causing people to fall ill. She won't let our people leave, or speak with outsiders, or trade for the resources we need. There is no reasoning with her. Anything that doesn't strictly serve our oath to Nandru is treason of the highest order. It's why I play my part where she can see. I don't want to risk her wrath. It is. I understand, Mihala, but principles won't keep your people fed and safe. Neither our oaths nor this keep will prevent our people from starving. Change must happen. We need to leave the keep. Do you understand me? The keep decays, and we drown in a rot. The wardens defend a corpse against that which would revive it. We will not last here much longer. Not without food, building materials, medical supplies. I let an Aedyr trade caravan slip past our patrols, but that's hardly enough. We need so much more. All of which your ambassador in Paradise could provide. If I could only start the conversation. Information. You're looking for another path to the garden. I don't know if there is one, but I know who might. You were right, you know. The Stilgarroth are in the mines at Mount Forja, looking for the garden even as we speak. If they haven't found what you're looking for, they will soon. I hear their commander is a determined woman. Because I know how she'd react. Mihala would have had us rushing headlong to our deaths fighting the Stilgarroth. She does not care about how the situation could advantage us. The garden does not matter to me. Whether it's you or the Stilgarroth who find it, I don't care. Forget duty. Duty cannot feed our children. Duty cannot keep us safe. The Inquisitor is a questionable creature, but she might be all that stands between us and doom. She has the Ambassador's ear. With her support, he might agree to trade with us. It doesn't matter how reasonable he is if I don't have his ear. I am an aging dwarf from a small, fanatical order on the ass end of a volcanic wasteland. Against Mihala's wishes, I have written to him many times. He refuses to lend his ear. But if a powerful ally were to speak on my behalf, there might be something I could offer him. Something like the keep.
You give them the keep? Have you lost your Sundan mind?
I understand ridding yourselves of the keep, but to help the Steel Garrote, disgusting.
The keep. Its inane traditions. None of that means anything to me. I want to offer up Solace Keep to Aedyr and the Steel Garrote in exchange for goods and gold. Its existence has cost us so much. The least it can do is buy a future for our people. That is my most fervent hope, Envoy. Mihala believes your empire cannot see us as anything but rivals. An agreement may protect us from dying from deprivation, and perhaps also keep us safe from Aedyr's hunger. It might seem a foolish idea, but better to be a fool who tried than a coward who did not. Your quest for the garden is also a fool's errand. You are not the first person to have said that. I want you to get what you want, Envoy. My hope is that you don't kill the Inquisitor before I get what I want too. I would never ask you not to defend yourself, Envoy. In any case, the Steel Garrote are at the Mount Forja mines. To get there, head west across the primordial depths. Do as you will. I believe the Pargrunen and the Aedyrians can forge a mutually beneficial alliance. That will not happen if there is unnecessary bloodshed. Also. Well, if you happen to head north, you might pass by the Living Archives, a monastery dedicated to preserving our history. The monastery hasn't been in touch in days, and I can't spare a warden to check on them. Oh, please, look in on them, if you can.
Right, I get it. He wants us to run his errands.
I do, Marius. Because I trust you. And by extension, I trust the Envoy. Is that so outrageous? You were missed here. Whatever the front I put forward may have led you to believe.
You have a funny way of showing it.
I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious, Envoy. They are to the north of Solace Keep, along the main road. And beware, if my warden's reports are accurate, there are a considerable number of Zarips between here and there. Look for Elder Grigor at the archives. He should be able to give you a full accounting. I pray nothing terrible has happened. Thank you for this, Envoy. You are more than the villains your people are made out to be.
news, Andrada?
Sorry, Geoffrey. Captain. No, the council's still working.
An outlander.
Food today was as rancid as a Zarev's bulls.
You need to be grateful for what you've been given.
Suppose that's edible.
Garrote. Need some bounties. Go to camp first.
That meeting of the Solace Council did not go as planned.
It was a whole lot of exactly what I expected, honestly. It's all processes and traditions, and arguments over texts written by non-Druids centuries ago.
Same story everywhere. Though, much of Rauatai's history is recorded in chants, so half our debates are sung. It doesn't resolve our feuds, but it does make them more entertaining.
Do you think there's hope for the Council? Or are they too stuck in their ways?
Do I look like an Usundid politician? There's a reason I spend most of my time as far from civilization as possible.
Well, I'd vote for you, dearie. If only to see you squirm.
Would you ever consider using animancy at sea?
Nope. Too unpredictable.
But surely you see the potential. It could improve navigation, lighting, and even fishing.
And the last thing you want is your navigator hearing voices, or your hull catching fire when one of those devices messes up.
Where's your spirit of adventure?
Alive to tell the tale, thank you.
Envoy? Coming back to Solace is not easy for me. A lot of memories, not all happy ones. I grew up in Solace. They took me in when I was a child, and they treated me like one of their own. Until I left. I'm not sure. I was hoping you could help with that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, over the years, I started getting the feeling I was lied to, like everyone in Solace knew something I didn't. Whenever I asked about where I came from, I never got a straight answer. You're here now, they'd say. That's what matters. Oh, they definitely were. I swear on Magrin's breath. What could have been so bad that they wouldn't even tell me about it? Was it something I did? Something I didn't do? I left because I felt like everyone there was keeping something from me. Like I didn't belong there. Right. Okay. Thanks. I had to get out of there. I slipped out in the night, never said a word to anyone. Didn't look up till I got to Paradise. Now I think I might have a lead on what happened. Or at least, something that might bring me peace. Since we entered Solace, I've been... memories have come flooding back. It's been all I can think about.
It's only natural. You were gone a long time.
Seeing Mihala, I remembered coming here as a child, but there's more. There was a village, and something went wrong. The village should be north of here. I remember godless ruins and a flow of lava and a large circle of some kind. I need to find that village, if it exists. There's something there I need to find. I just wish I knew what it was. It will. I think it will. I hope so. Anyway. Until next time.
I've seen council meetings get out of control, but that one was for the books. Almost as bad as when I asked the governor for some unconventional equipment. He nearly had a heart attack. A corporeal inverter. In layman's terms, it replaces living things with dead things by killing them. Maybe it wasn't my smartest investment, but I thought it had research potential. Old customs struggling to fix new problems. It's remarkable, really, what people do for traditions that have lost all meaning. The garden is your birthright, and the wardens don't seem to know why they're guarding it in the first place. If anyone has a right to enter the garden, it's you. Such is the life of an envoy. The council made their choice. If they won't let you into the garden, we just have to find another way. Go on then. Don't be shy. Oh yes. The little butterflies in my stomach are more restless than ever. When I joined you, I needed to put a stop to the Dream Scourge. So much has changed since then. There may be nothing for me in the garden. Nothing I haven't learned outside of it. Something tells me the garden would defy any attempt to measure it. One cannot catalog the impossible. On a journey such as this, it's better to cast aside your expectations. They can only weigh you down. If I must. Marius, could I examine your soul?
Oh no. You'll use...
We're on the precipice of something magical. You can feel it, can't you? The garden is within our grasp. All we need now is the courage and wisdom to brave the unknown.
We'll find a way. We always... Are you afraid of what's to come? I'm not judging, just curious. Indeed. Whatever happens in the garden, it won't be the end of our problems. I believe, for the first time in ages, that I am not afraid. I used to care so much about discovery, invention, achievement. But deep down, I was afraid. Afraid that I wasn't living up to my potential. You've been paying attention. Since we met, everything I believed has been proven wrong. That the island can be controlled. That I alone can fix it. Even my parents. Gods. They really had no idea what they were doing. Just like me. And look how that turned out. I'm so tired of being afraid. I need to accept my limitations or embrace them. Even if I'm wrong again, that's part of the journey. I have no idea where it leads. And for the first time, it's fine. Perfectly fine. Did I? Huh. I don't know what I expected. Feels nice. Glad I could get that off my chest. We have bigger problems to worry about, but I appreciate these little moments. You have an inquisitive mind. I respect that. If you ever feel your education is missing something, I'd be happy to teach you what I know. All you have to do is ask. Excellent. The Imperial Court taught you well, but I suspect there were gaps in what they call an education. If there's anything you've been dying to learn from an animancer, now is the time. Gladly. You should have seen my thesis defense. I called the governor an intellectual void, an ooze in the form of man. Now, let's begin. You, drifted off for a moment. Were you paying attention? Really? What's the last thing I said? Well, aren't you the clever one? No harm done, of course. I don't mind if you catch a few winks. Besides, a little nap is good for the soul. I slept through my share of lectures, and look how I turned out. That's all I have to teach you for now. I'll chime in if anything else comes to mind. Until next time.
Rowattians love to boast about how barren and rugged our homeland is, but we've got nothing on the Pargrunan living here. I can't fault your optimism, but would you think that if this was the only landscape you ever saw, day in and day out? According to Marius, his people are forbidden from ever leaving the Tusks.
I did tell you that, didn't I? Must have been drunk.
I'm all for pulling together, but that's just oppressive.
It's about the walls, really. Big, massive, ancient walls.
But what's the point of all that if it's not making everyone's lives better somehow? Rowattai has a similar problem. Between the constant storms and the rocky soil, the lands never supported us easily. So many of us find work as sailors and mercenaries. We explore the world as soldiers or as part of a trade mission. We venture out. We're encouraged to. Not everyone, of course, but Rauatai's hardly a dying country. Everyone in the Living Lands faces struggle, but people choose that, and usually to escape something worse. Forcing people into a lifetime of hardship for the sake of principle or tradition is a different matter entirely. I can tell he's struggling against the current, which is a shame because he's looking out for his people rather than an old building. Tradition and history have their place, but I just can't see putting it ahead of the welfare of the living. But you're the envoy. I'm wondering what you think about it. True, but I don't think it's a bad one for the Pargrunen. Rauatai's grown over the centuries through dozens of expansions, conquests, and alliances. Many were bloody and hard-won, but I still can't find myself wishing for the alternative. We wouldn't have lasted if we stayed a small Almaua tribe struggling against a barren, stormy spit of land. Some would, some wouldn't. You of all people would know there's no simple answer to that. The question is, do you really think Kostya and his people are better off sticking around here than taking their chances with Aedyr? Or striking out into the Living Lands? I only hope they get that chance. Never. The Pargrunen of Solace are notoriously suspicious of outsiders. Though, from the looks of this place, Solace's real concern has got to be keeping its people in, not keeping the rest of us out. I've got extra water in my pack if anyone needs it.
Envoy? Sorry. I've been in my head ever since we left Solace, thinking about the village. What if I get there and... oh, I don't know, I fall apart. Memories flood in and I don't know who I am anymore. Or worse, what if it's nothing? I appreciate that, Envoy. I just wish I believed it. There was a story. The warden who saw the future. There was a young warden who thought she could see the future. She'd think about things and they would come to pass. She was worried about her father falling ill, and he did. She feared her friend would die of exposure. It happened. One day, she was with her patrol unit guarding a watchtower, and she was struck by a terrifying thought. She just knew in her gut that Solace was under attack. Zareps or ogres or fire blights from the wastes. Oh, you've heard this one. The young warden tried to alert her unit, but they didn't seem concerned. They said she was delusional, so she left the tower to go protect Solace. And she found nothing there. Meanwhile, her post came under attack. Her whole unit was killed because she abandoned it. The story ended before that part. Huh. Probably, though. What if I'm seeing the future? I can't stop thinking about this village, as if I'm trying to predict what will happen. Well, I'm fortunate to have you all here. Anyway, I appreciate the talk, Envoy. I clearly have some things to figure out. Anyway. You too. Envoy, been thinking about Amalia a bit. You convinced her to stay in the Tusks. Not what I would have done, but at least it's resolved. Solace's traditions exist for a reason. It's just not always a good reason. Right. I just wanted to make sure you knew how big that was, in case she didn't thank you enough. Envoy, what do you need? If I must. Hey, I wanted to say that I'm sorry to hear about the whole Tom.
Yeah, let's check out that quest.
What are you doing here? This place isn't safe. The homestead up ahead is all run by Zaribs. Used to be it was occupied by outcasts, but the region's getting more lethal. If you think the Salos steppe was hell, it's nothing next to the primordial depths up north. The Zaribs used to be more peaceful, but the recent tremors tore up the terrain so badly, they had to go south. They started turning it into one of their villages. Even ripped up the crops planted by the wardens. What a waste. There are some Balgrunin living in the wastelands out here, all without the aid of the wardens. If someone got rid of these Arabs, they might be able to shelter here, maybe even grow some crops. It's up to you if you would like to help out with these Arabs, but I hope you do. You dealt with these Arabs. I didn't have any doubts about whether you could, but still. Your actions will save some lives. The buildings will at least provide some shelter. Here, Take this.
One moment.
Raw meat. Something's down here. Dead.
Hey.
We'll check in on the ogre.
I shall not soon forget your kindness. Thank you.
Okay, still can't use him. So we'll stop here first and we'll be back. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you again.